Hello, 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 and greetings, adventurers of Vera. Welcome to Tavern Talk at the Golden Feather Tavern. And right now, I'm going to make sure that I actually have volume on my mic. Okay, there we go. I do see it now. Oh, hey, Phoenix Fire, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yes, as most of you know, we are Vertec and Chibi, keepers of this fine establishment. And so you know, the Golden Feather Tavern is open to all travelers to come and share their thoughts on the inner workings of Vera over a nice tankard of ale, mead, hot chocolate, or other delicious beverage of choice. So raise your glass, pull up a chair, and join us in tonight's discussions. Today is the 29th of April 2025, and we're in episode 043, Mega Servers. Chibi, how are you doing today? And what do we have on tap? Who do we have in tap? Oh my goodness. Another one. Oh my gosh, what? Give me a second. Yeah, I don't know. Why are you muted? That's crazy. That's crazy. I think our live show producer needs to be fired. I think that's what's going on here. No.
There you go.
No.
Absolutely not me. Not me at all. I don't know who it is, but it's not me. I'll take over for now, but whoever it is, gosh darn you.
Yes, we absolutely have a separate producer in our two-man shows.
Gosh darn you.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, I was gonna say hello everybody. I am doing well. I am joined by Solverin from Aterian, Cirxin from Varcode, Des Revis from the Revis Order, and Kririan from outer space coming back to Ashes.
Yes.
From Chaos and Lace Cartel.
There you go.
And then Vertec and I are from Nexus. So just to get a mixture of guilds, although primarily most of them have been, I think, on Vyra. So we are the only Lenathians here. But we are going to be talking about the mega server adjustment that just happened yesterday. If you guys follow Ashes of Creation news, I'm sure you've heard from Nice, Richie, and a few others who've already made their videos. But we over here at the tavern like to have a nice drink with friends and chat about it in a longer format. So feel free to give us your thoughts while we chat with everybody. So if everyone wants to go ahead and introduce themselves and talk a little bit about your guild and your you-ness within
Your
Ashes.
you-ness.
So I'm gonna go first.
My name is Alvin. I am the leader of Aterian. It's a veteran-led guild. We PvP some more. And then we like to take fights, protect flower pickers, and enjoy the game.
And then when they're done with that, they PvP some more.
Yeah, I'll go next. We'll just go down the list on the stream. Strixon,
Yeah,
I'm the janitor of Barcode, dealing with all these random apes. We are a pacifist artisan guild. Just kidding. We are a PvP guild on Vyre. We've been having a lot of fun over there. Primarily PvP hardcore, try to be competitive when we can, you know. It's just a good time with a bunch of good people, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Ooh.
Alrighty, well, I guess that means I'm up then. So yeah, I'm Kurian. I'm from Chaos and Lace Cartel, and as from the name implies, we cause chaos. That's about it. Other than Annie, where we have to, you know, lace up all over my sticks.
Nice.
I am Des Revis from the Revis Order, the Shadows of Revis, and the Revis Consortium. We are the only all Elven guild, and we like to roleplay and fight things, especially certain groups that like to war deck all the time.
Nice. Very nice. And we are Nexus. We are a competitive guild. We are not the leaders of Nexus. We are just in Nexus, as Vertec and I like to have it, because I cannot imagine running a guild at the same time as all of this.
Yeah. We're not in there for leading a guild. That is
Yeah.
too big of a plate. Too big of a plate.
Yeah. But we do appreciate all that the guild leaders do for their guilds. It is no easy task for sure. And speaking of no easy tasks, I'm sure many of you are very familiar with trying to plan out what to do for phase 2, phase 3, now phase 2.5, and having so many changes that happen in quick succession. I think, quote unquote, from our own leadership, I quit trying to plan because Steven. And that's essentially just not retaliation, but in response to Steven kind of coming up with things that we had no idea was going to happen whatsoever. And we made a plan, and I'm sure Des is aware of this because I think Nexus was initially going to be on Vyra, and then last minute we went over to Lyneth. So yeah, we also didn't realize there was going to be a Lyneth option at the beginning for Vyra. So
instead,
yeah. So if you guys have not noticed or did not know, yesterday there was an update to their previously posted. So if you haven't checked that newest news piece, I think from the 18th, they have updated it a few times. Last night was the newest, and they have officially stated that we are no longer going to have the merge server and the fresh start server. We're actually just going to have the fresh start server, and there's no gonna be EU servers. Sorry, EU servers, at least for 2.5. Now, Maggie and Steven did later say that they will likely have the EU servers back in August, now that the phase 3 is starting August 4th. So what we're going to discuss tonight is our collective thoughts, or rather individual thoughts, and your thoughts as well. We would love to see your thoughts both on YouTube and Twitch. And we want to know what you think. Do you like that there's going to be this mega server for 2.5? Is it a turnoff for you? Is it something that excites you more? We just want to know. So I guess I'll just open that up with, how do you feel about there being a mega server for 2.5?
I think Barcode personally, like as a guild and, you know, being GM here, I think that we are incredibly hyped about it. I mean, it's right up our alley. We've wanted a mega server since we've been around. It's right up our alley. Lots of targets, lots of PvP, all that fun stuff. On the flip side, I think that we think it's, me personally rather, I think it's probably worse off for the overall game, because whether people agree with it or not, you know, sweats have a lot of fun. We do a lot of cool stuff. However, casuals, people that aren't playing 24/7, aren't being sweaty, aren't taking PTO to play an alpha, those are the guys that pay the bills and keep the lights on, because there's a lot more of them than there are of us, and I think that creates a pretty big issue. Ashes is already a niche game, but we need to make sure that there's a balance of respecting casual players as well as respecting the sweats. I think that's able to be hit, but I think a mega server is probably, in a personal way, I love it. In a game-wide way, I think it's probably maybe a little bit of a misstep potentially.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to majorly agree that it is a misstep. The population is not ready for that. To have so many people all in one area. Yes, we're having more places opened up, but it's not time yet. There's too many people just war wacky all over the place, not thinking about server health at all. Need more space.
Yeah, and real quick, I just want to say thank you so much for the Prime subs and the gift subs. Super appreciate you guys. Cheers to Tim. Cheers to Phoenix. Thank you so much.
Cheers indeed. Thank you.
I agree with both of them so far. The server health at the start is going to be really, really bad.
Mhm.
But I think as they continue to add the rest of the anvils and all the way up to the mountain, like the rest of the continent, we're going to have so much more space. So the mega server for testing will start making a little bit more sense. But they definitely, in my opinion, they added it way too early.
All right.
That's kind of
Vertek,
what
I
I'm
wanna
thinking
hear you.
too.
Yeah.
Is I think it's going to be great for testing the tech, testing the servers, you know, limit testing and everything. I can't help but think that they are putting legitimately everybody in here, because isn't it something silly like 170,000 people or something like that onto a single server, and it's only going to be currently it's at what, like 1/8 the size of the full server or the full realm map. So it's holy cow, that's an insane number of people in such a small area, especially for an MMO that's on an engine that's not really built for it. So testing is going to be amazing. They're going to really get some pressure points pushed, but in general, every single POI is going to be a murder box, and that's not, as Strixon said, that's really not, well, and some others right after too. It's really not good for the overall health of the game. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. If anything else, just because the people aren't going to be able to progress up. Whoever pushes through the quickest is going to dominate the server. Absolutely.
See, I have a slightly varying opinion. I think that while I understand this is not going to be very fun, I do understand from a developer standpoint that you need to definitely test your systems. And I don't know if this sort of testing is indicative of a larger player population end game, i.e. when they go live, because they had previously mentioned, as Vertec previously pointed out, either in other streams or personally last night when we got this message, is that they had like what 10k concurrent players, 50k max per server. And so if you're getting that 170k to test, I mean, you are definitely stress testing the crap out of the dynamic gridding system, the dynamic server system, etc. And I'm gonna be there for it. I'm honestly gonna try and help them with crashing those systems if I can to find that upper limit. But I don't know what this will mean for the future of Ashes. I don't know if this means that they're going to see higher population for these servers, or if this is just strictly like a ridiculously excessive stress test of these features. So yeah, that's kind of my take on this. I think that maybe going forward, having 1/4 to 1/2 of the map with 170k people, sorry, is a bit excessive and would not be very fun. I also don't think that they had the second starting system in their starting point yet. I think that's coming in July, so I'm curious to see how that goes. But it's gonna be a lot, you guys. I will say myself, I'm not super into PvP, so I'm not gonna enjoy the bloodbath, and we already saw at the beginning of phase 2 how excessively cramped it was, and it wasn't even a mega server right off the bat. It started as one, but they quickly opened up a second server, and it didn't even have the number of players we're going to see May 1st coming in. So yeah, I don't know.
Actually, I'm going to try to look on the wiki and see if it has listed, if Steven's ever really called out how many people are going to be in the phase 3 in total.
I think they said they upped it to 16k, 16,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That may have been during the dark period for TGF when we had to deal with real life storm systems.
1,600 people in phase 3?
What?
Is that what you said?
16,000 server cap.
16,000, but if there's the mega server, how are they going? There's more than 16,000 people playing.
Because it's a short phase, and I don't think that many people, like, no offense to Intrepid, I love Intrepid. My guild calls me a Steven's Visioner all the time because I buy into Steven's vision. But I don't necessarily think that there's going to be that kind of player base on the server.
Yeah.
So day one, I can see it, but after people figure out that they can't get in or even be able to leave Lionhold, yeah, it's going to fall off quick.
But no, how many people bought? The thing I'm asking is how many people bought into phase 3? Because all of them are going to be able to join one single server, and that's it. So if they put the cap at 16,000, then that means there's going to be weeks where you're not going to be able to log in.
Well, the queues and how the server workers work, it'll be dependent on like what the activity is like, and that's 24 hours, right? And you have the EU guilds are coming over here as well, a bunch of Europeans, so those will be on off hours from the standard prime time US hours. Nova Ordem, which is a great guild that's based in Brazil. There's Yggdrasil as well. Those guys are going to be on a little bit different skew, so there's going to be a skew of the population per prime time. I don't think necessarily that we'll hit like a massive number. Like my gut feeling right now on Vira, well, 2 weeks ago before they announced the wipes and stuff like that, was there's probably about 500 people on Vira at any given moment. I think Lyneth was probably along the same route. But there's a lot of people that I know that are taking a break for this phase 2.5 so that they don't burn out as well.
Yeah. And I mean, Vertec and I are definitely one of those where we took a break because there wasn't really anything new that we were interested in testing specifically. And, we got what we felt like we wanted to get out of the current systems while we wait for fixes and or newer content that interests us a little bit more. But somebody said, let me scroll back up. Maple Law says, isn't it a PvP MMO, but you don't like PvP? And I want to stress this by saying, I'm not against PvP. Vertec and I don't prefer PvP. We like PvE systems. Ashes is a PvX game as they display it. And I know that there's a lot of PvP systems within Ashes, but it's one of those, I don't actively seek PvP, but I will engage in PvP when I am interested in doing so. It's not something I go out of my way to necessarily avoid either.
That's the thing is we're all about the objective oriented PvP.
Yes.
Open world PvP, I could do with or without it, really. Not a huge fan. But when I'm trying to go and accomplish any goal in the game and it can all be interrupted by PvP, that's kind of where I draw the this isn't really fun for me line. So I'm just trying to go out and hang with my friends, and I can't even plan on trying to go and do an activity because it could absolutely be wrecked by somebody else having fun, and their fun being the sole purpose of their fun being wrecking everybody else's fun and calling it content and saying like, hey, you're welcome for the content. That's not a good time for me. Don't enjoy it.
There needs to be some balance for that, for sure. I think like if they were to like take the world bosses, my personal opinion, I think they should take like Firebrand and Tumok and 4x their HP and the resists and put them in the lawless zone. So that's like a much bigger, long drawn out fight for it. That's more PvP focused, right? But in my experience with any PvX game, it's always been where PvE builds the world, but PvP changes the world. And the end game is almost always revolving around PvP. And that's not saying that the PvE doesn't matter there, but like the crafters and stuff like that, you might be going in just chopping a braidwood, or you might be processing some ingots or something like that. But typically most of those resources are going to go towards building siege weapons or gear or something like that's going to be used in a PvP form or fashion, right? But I think that there does need to be maybe heavier. I just think it's not there yet, but I think there should be definitely an avenue or a path for people to take a much more fun PvE route if they so choose that. That's not the route that I want to go. I want to fight all the time always, but I think that, for server health, for game release, for game launch, right, to make sure that this game is the biggest that it can be, there should definitely be a route for PvE to have maybe not a quote unquote safe route, but more manageable for people that are not going to be in some massive PvP sweat guild.
Yeah, because that's one of my biggest fears for if they try to push it too hard as far as population per realm come live. Granted, they could definitely push it higher than it is. With the current expectation is of what 50,000 registered accounts and up to 10,000 concurrent. They could definitely push it up bigger than that, and it would be just fine for a full launch size map, right? Because for reference, the math that I came up with back when Alpha 2 first kicked off, and it was really packed, and everybody was having a hard time doing anything because it was so packed, and everyone was pushing them off of all their areas, their POIs and leveling zones. That was the equivalent of having, I think it was 64,000 people on a full live realm, like concurrent users. So, something dialing it back down to like what, 50,000, 40,000 would be probably pretty reasonable and make it feel like incredibly alive.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those things where so they keep mentioning that, phase 2 extending to 2.5 is not based on player enjoyment. It's based on testing the systems that they need to test. But I think if they were to increase, because I think they're going to momentarily increase the expectations of maximum concurrent players just for this test. At least that's how Maggie made it sound on Discord. But I think if they do 16K max concurrent, that would totally be fine with me still, especially with how massive the world is going to be, because after experiencing just New Ayla to the beginning parts of the desert, I was like, wow, this is actually kind of massive. I didn't realize how long it would take me to get here. So, I mean, keeping that in mind, that was at the time 1/10 of the entire like landscape. And there's 2 continents. It's going to take people a very long time to get from one place to another. And there's a lot of systems that I'm actually very intrigued by it, but I think we need to, I don't know. I'm approaching this with cautious optimism, I think, because I want there to be a fun level of max concurrent people where the world feels alive. But if live server ends up coming out where, you know, it's the way that the testing is about to go down with the extremely overcrowded areas, I don't know how fun that will be for me personally. Cirkson, you're getting yelled at by chat.
I know, I had permission.
Oh my goodness.
So that's what you came here for.
I
See how
literally
it is.
Vertec was like, is this cool if I do this? And he was like, you're really bad at the game, so sure, you could use all the help.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess we'll give you a crutch. It's fine. It's fine.
Shots fired.
Everyone's got to help
Vertec-
the underdog. Am I right?
Wow. We always yell at him, so that's nothing new. Fair. Wait, who's Cirkson? Wow.
I'm telling you, there are so many buses driving around today. It's insanity.
Gotta watch out there.
You know what's funny? You say lead janitor of Barcode. I got a friend that works in cybersec in DC. Nobody really knows where exactly, but he worked in a building in the same building as NASA. So he'd always tell everybody he was the NASA janitor. And he would so often, every time he'd pass by one of the janitor carts, he'd take a picture of it and like post about his day. It was like 2 or 3 times a day he'd like walk by a mop or a cart and just take a picture of it and post it up on social media, talking about how his day's so rough, running all around the office.
That's funny. Back in my EVE Online days, one of the guys in our guild worked for NASA JPL, and he would send us all this cool stuff, and we'd be in the middle of fights or something like that, and he'd be like, that's not how that works. That's not how this works. I'm like, just let us immerse, okay? Leave us alone.
Creepy janitor staring. Thank you so much, Atomic. Cheers. And thank you for the follow, by the way.
Oh, hey, thank you. Much appreciated.
Just real quick, Kenzie, Groggy, Billsy Bub, DMD, Vigorda, Nuketai. I'm destroying these names probably, but thank you. Appreciate that. And welcome to the tavern. Hope you guys enjoy your stay here. I will quietly be doing these as a thank you. And Duffels, cheers to you for, did you subscribe or did you gift again? You subscribed this time. Okay, thank you.
Oh, hey.
And Kyrie, thank you. Just say cheers to Duffels. He smells about too late. Too late. I cheers Duffels all the time. Can't judge people, okay? Sometimes our meat is so good, okay? You just can't judge them for that.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get that going again.
Yes, you do.
You were supposed to send me some and I never got it.
That's because we haven't started it since the hurricanes. But if you guys want to hop on the train of keeping Vertec accountable,
I mean, I'm just saying, right
it.
now, I'm currently trying to search for the box of stuff that we were able to salvage and figure out what was lost and whatnot, so I can figure out how much money I need to save up in order to get it back up and running again.
Yeah.
If you want to help out with that, by all means.
For those of you that don't know, Vertec and I are in the Floridia location, and we had to move from our old place to more central Floridia because our house got flooded at the beginning of phase 1 of Alpha 2. So we missed out on pretty much all of phase 1. But we are here. We're good. We don't think about it like that. Now we're just trying to figure out how to get mead back in the tummy of people. So.
Yeah, when it comes to making boozy stuff, I would much rather throw out the stuff that got infested with that water. That was the nastiest water known to man. We were right near a swampy beach. Ugh.
Yeah,
You got
it
a
was-
place with a nice yard and stuff.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, I mean, new place. Yeah. I'm still trying
He's
to
still cringing.
bleach my mind of the flood water from that area.
It was gross. We don't need to like gross the people out though.
Ugh, man. Yeah, I won't go into detail.
It was bad enough being in it. We don't need to gross out other people.
Gross.
Yeah, it was
Gross. That's
bad.
grody.
But yes, so what do you think the implications of this are? Like, do you foresee Intrepid possibly trying to do a mega server on launch, or?
Yes.
I don't think so. You go first,
I
Alden.
don't think so either. Go ahead.
I think they'll attempt it if they get the right amount of data and people to support it. 0.5 is essentially going to be a proving ground. Who's not to be what they want it to be, then they'll have more servers, but I think they'll absolutely attempt.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting at too. I honestly think, and I really truly hope that what they're doing, and by hope, I'm looking more at the trying to make the servers as strong as they reasonably can without spending $1 jillion a month on a nuclear computer to run a mega server, but to build and harden the servers to be as tight running and as flexible as possible for launch. Maybe aiming to have specs that can support up to like, say 100,000 people, should there be a server merge down the line that they need to accommodate for, but then aiming for like a 40 or 50,000 person concurrent player population, and a larger server than the 8 to 10,000 concurrent would actually be pretty healthy. I think that would actually be really good. So by all means, yes, please test, make it bigger, make it badder, make it faster, make it more awesome. But
I almost spilled my drink. Sorry.
Yeah, I hope they're planning on making them versatile to handle the bigger things just in case there's a merge, but then they'll scale back the actual goal. Sorry, I'm done.
Well,
now.
something that's really intelligent that Intrepid's doing is they're already testing in alpha for merges, right? So they're future planning a lot of stuff, which I think is very bright. Go for it,
To
Judy.
add to that real quick, I think they're testing that tonight on PTRs. They just finished.
That's awesome.
So-
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea overall. I mean, I think that, like I said, I'm the Stevens visioner of the guild, but I think that it's very bright for them to plan for that stuff, to get a future state going on, because they know that MMOs will come and go in lulls, right? Like, I intend on playing Ashes for the next 10 years, like praying we get like the best launch, the best release. We have to stop abuse, exploit abuse. There's a point of finding exploits. There's also a point in stopping the abuse of them, right? Because it detriments the rest of the player base. That's a big problem they've got to fix now, because right now alpha is in the most fragile state that it's going to be, with a limited player base, limited viewability, all that kind of fun stuff. We need to really make sure that gets hampered down on. I think Intrepid's lacking there a little bit, but they also only have 2 GMs, 2 customer support people, so they're doing what they can, right? But I plan on playing this game for quite a while, right? Like I want Ashes to thrive. I want to go. I played EVE Online. I gave it up 2 years ago. I played it since beta in 2003, right? Like once I find a game, I'm hooked. I'm in. I don't think they're going to do a mega server. I think a naturally occurring mega server will happen. The PvP sweats will be like, we want competition, so they will all go to one server, and then there'll be some guilds that want to tag along in that or improve their game, stuff like that, right? That will really build up a mega server, but that leaves the other servers to kind of do their thing. There will be PvP on those other servers, of course, but it'll be a more natural ecosystem for those environments overall, I believe.
Well, here's, I think, maybe a slight counterpoint to that. Well, for one, I just want to mention that, hello, Fupo, welcome in. Fupo brought up another point that makes sense, that it does also get rid of the different realms having different things happening, like different stories on different realms, if they were to do a mega server. So for that alone, I think that's a really key, like, bright point of Ashes that I don't think they would purposely ever get rid of. So I mean that I think is a major point against them ever doing it like a mega server unless they absolutely had to, because population got that low.
I was going to touch on that point too, but then you also got to think you're never going to be able to do a mega server with the amount of like freeholds that are going to be available. Like maybe 2K at most if they do what they did with their diagram and make that available. Right now, we're not even close to that.
I think that's a fair point, but I think the freeholds are not mutually exclusive to like high player count or PvP servers, right? Like, I mean, Barcode, we have what, 16 or 17 freeholds on the server right now. There's very minimal working essence to it. However, that's not open world PvP is one of the pillars of Ashes, right? So you don't need to have any kind of crazy, you don't need to have a node, you don't have to have anything really other than just being in a guild to actually enjoy a good amount of PvP. You can even solo PvP. You can sit in the lawless and just jump people one-on-one, or you can do a lot of different things. But I don't think that that's necessarily directly like mutually exclusive that you have to have freeholds and stuff like that, because you're going to have guild freeholds that come in, which is, I think that's probably what you're alluding to as well, Des. But I think that there's going to be quite a significant there's going to be a big gap in what you need to be effective at PvP, because freeholds, all that stuff, none of that's required for PvP. And even right now, the guild leveling system being as rough as it is, because it's new, it's an alpha, so you have to give them some time to grow and build it out. But I think that you really need to, you don't need anything, right, to go be an effective PvP group. Like Barcode, we have freeholds that are basically unusable right now. We don't have a node. We had a node initially, and all that kind of fun stuff. But I don't think there's a whole lot that you need outside of that, right? And if you want to be a PvP group, like a really good group like Purple, they do a lot of really good work. They don't have a node, they don't run any of that stuff, but they can just go tag along and join citizenship to go take part in some of these bigger things. So they've really thought out like the short-term PvP for groups as well. So I mean, I think it's kind of it's a blend and it's a balance, right? And we have to see what comes out of release too, because right now what we're getting is guaranteed almost every system we've touched is going to be changed in some form or fashion, either 1% or 90%, right? And so it's just got to see what happens.
And a lot of this I'm saving until Saturday when we do our official podcast. But yeah, they've made a lot of conversation about, adjusting how the NPCs are, and the fact that they're trying to make it more relatable or reliable for a crafter to make money, especially early game. I feel like, I don't know if Vertec and I had any hand in that with our conversations of being a novice crafter means nothing, and you basically push through novice just to get to apprentice as quickly as you can to then be meaningful. So I wonder if that adjustment was in not response directly to just us, but just that sentiment. And then on top of that, like some of you in chat, I absolutely agree. Like we got the rarity systems coming, and the biggest interest to me was the diverse types of servers and the choices that those servers make, which we already had the news of story arcs not being called story arcs, but being called modules. And as long as the core of what a story arc is doesn't change, I don't really care what you call it. A rose by any other name smells just as sweet. So it's one of those things where call it whatever you want, as long as it doesn't change its like point of being in the game. But yeah, like the changes in story arcs, what Resna does versus Shoal versus Vyra versus Lyneth versus Lotharia, I want to know how each of these servers differ and what progressions and paths they take, and how is Miraleth on one server versus another. And these are the things that interested me into Ashes and the player driven functionality of it all. If there's just one server, it's a bit less interesting to me, I'm gonna be honest.
I'm going to totally agree with that. The world building and stuff is what got me into it, and actually the different stories that we are going to have on the different realms as well.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, as far as they're by chance down the line becoming a sweat server, like a mega server, because everyone's trying to trade over there to compete against whoever, I think that might even be a tall order without Intrepid deciding that a merge needs to happen, because there's going to be so much time built into each character And they said they're probably not doing anything. Steven said a while ago that they're probably not going to be trying to build in character transfers. That may change, of course. You never know. But if there's not a character transfer, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of people that are going to say, yeah, I'm just going to dunk my old character in a vat of acid and forget about it and start a brand new one over on a different server where everybody else is already established, so I can compete with these
Right.
other people.
Right. Although I did find it interesting when they said that when you get merged, you wouldn't have like all of your inventory would merge with you. You just wouldn't have access to it until after you became a citizen of that same node again, which here's my problem with that a little bit. What if on my server I liked that node, but on this new server I don't like that node? Am I forever blocked out of that material then? That I don't know how to feel about that.
One more time? Just make sure I
So-
understood.
Right now, you get what, 2 bank tabs without being a citizen, 3 if you are a citizen. So
Yeah,
if
you
you
get
are
one for
being
free and you
moved,
can buy more, yeah.
so if you're getting moved, you have all of your items in there, and there are certain things that if you have it in the citizenship tab, etc. What if you like? Yeah, I guess you could just be a citizen for a short period of time just to get it out, but I don't know. I feel like that's more of a hassle than it needs to be. Like, I get that you can do that, but is that a good player experience? Is that
Well-
ideal for the player's endpoint?
Yeah,
Especially
mo-
since there's supposed to be long cooldowns between joining citizenship and
Yes. That
Yeah, my
and you
biggest
were
thing-
taken from your server into this new one. So in a way, like, is this like an extra negative? Like, not only did my server die and I was forced into this new server, but now I have to be a citizen in a node that I don't want to be a citizen in just to get my stuff out of it.
Yeah, it also has a lot to do with which nodes end up being leveled up. And down the
Yeah.
line, if you're the smaller server and you get merged into the larger server and theirs is already established and you had a metropolis, who knows how many storage units you could purchase extra in a metropolis. And then your metropolis ends up being a tier 0 like wilderness in the other server. You could have 4 tabs that you're never going to be able to access. You may as well just kiss all that stuff goodbye. That was a conversation that Lloyd and I were having, and how it might be nifty if there was just like a caravan depot, visually a caravan depot that just arrives at one of the starting zones or at each of the starting zones, and when you get merged over, you visit them to see where all your stuff is or what all stuff you have, and then you travel to a node and you tell that caravanserai or that storage place, hey, I'd like to have all my stuff, this much stuff delivered here. And then it takes a couple days for it to be delivered from the caravan circle at each starting zone. And then you have it at each node that it has actually already developed. And you can kind of pick and choose where it goes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think with like
Also-
a server merge situation too, if they were to say, hey, look, like server merge is happening, pick your citizenship and move your stuff there, so you could actually have a choice there with that. So that way you can be like, look, this one's not warring all the time. I'm not a PvPer. This fits me. But I also think some of the intention behind that is to keep people from hoarding materials so they can use them in the economy, so they can keep the economy moving in a faster method as well, right? But like Vertex
Right.
said, we don't know what's going to happen with Metropolis and all this stuff, but freeholds as well. I mean, as you've seen in the freeholds, they have storage in the freeholds. Guild freeholds will, I'm assuming, will have storage as well. There'll be storage in multiple different facets and venues, but I think Intrepid's intention there, and I have no, this is just gut feeling, I have no information on this. I think it's to stop people from hoarding as much and look and work more towards like getting materials and using them so they can go into the economy. Because a faster moving economy is, the faster that circle spins, the more balanced the inflation ends up being. So that way there's
Right.
a stronger balance. So when people do stupid things like RMT on Cash App or whatever that might be, or doing anything kind of wild or crazy or trying to do anything stupid, that inflation doesn't hit as hard, right? And Intrepid's going to take that stuff very seriously. We know they're taking that stuff very seriously, but there's got to be buffer in there. And I think that keeping the economy moving in a quick fashion is probably a lot of the intent with having a limited storage.
Yeah, the only problem with that being, well, there's a couple of problems I see, because yeah, fast moving economy is a good thing, but there's another component to it. Like for those who do like having like crafting being their life, like that's the portion of the game that they love, they're going to have a gathering day, and that gathering day will fill up 2, even 4 tabs really quickly, unless they just dump everything onto the auction house super fast or to a merchant just to make a quick buck. It's going to fill up very, very fast with just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff.
Tabs?
Real quick, Kieran, thank you so much for joining us, and I appreciate you giving us the time that you had.
I didn't want to interrupt the conversation.
No worries.
Hey, no worries. And I know Strixon has to run away as well here too, so.
Yeah, me and Kieran are gonna go cuddle. But no, thank you guys for having me on. I definitely appreciate it. And anytime you guys want to bug me or annoy me with anything, you guys never annoy me. But anytime you guys want to bug me, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds
I know we were
good.
talking a while ago
Sounds
about
good.
getting you on to the official podcast day, so we still got to get that lined up.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Soon.
Have a good rest of your stream.
Thanks.
All right, take
Have
care.
a great night.
Y'all have fun.
Alrighty. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you for that, but I also wanted to throw out something that one of our people said. It was Crispy Pigeon said the storage needs to be removed only if it gets taken away from you. I like that because that solves that problem. Like you can remove the items from it, you just can't store anything there unless you become a citizen again.
They can
Yeah.
also make it into a cool quest. It generates for people to do and move things.
There you go. Yeah.
Or for that matter, yeah, I kind of like the being able to remove it at least, but maybe give it a certain amount of time. Like if you lose citizenship, you have like 3 days or a week or something like that to get the stuff out of there.
Yeah.
Granted, that's extra buffer. People can game the system of having multiple citizenships and just keeping a lot of storage stuff open, but I mean, if they want to run around and do all that hassle, I suppose it's whatever. But
Yeah. And I mean, right now chat's kind of talking about like the number of tabs and then compare it to like the number of resources we're going to have dependent on each different biome.
it's ridiculous.
You know?
Now imagine that. Okay, imagine like you are located in New Ayla, let's say. That's where your guild is made a home. It is a metropolis. You're just living the dream there. You have a freehold and everything. It's going great. And that's where you run your, let's say you're a GM tailor. And so you bring cloth from all over the world there. How quick do you think like 4 tabs is going to fill up? Super fast. So like Fupo was saying, like currently we're just in testing. All these numbers can change. I would imagine they're going to increase it. Personally, I haven't had any different thoughts on it. Like I'm pretty sure they're going to increase storage along the way at some point. Especially as people again develop their lives and they're trying to do crafts, and again the entire world, there's going to be so many different materials for cloth. I mean, every single node almost has different materials. Definitely every biome has different materials, and if you're supposed to be able to mix and match recipes or components in the recipe, you're probably going to be collecting all those materials. So just the cloth alone is probably going to cap out 8 tabs worth of space.
Yeah. Well, let's just add in the additional thing that you guys have been talking about in chat, but we haven't actually brought up yet verbally, and that is guild space, guild bank, right? So once you add in also guild banks, not only will you be able to store a lot of your materials there, because a lot of people tend to have, I donate this much to the guild so that the crafters can do their things, but on top of that, that takes that out of your storage. So perhaps you'd keep maybe 10% of what you harvest to sell and 90% goes to the guild. I'm being generous here. I don't know what people would do or what they would prefer. But that's 90% of your materials that you've gotten going into the guild bank rather than in your own storage. And that would open up storage a lot more for a lot of the things that we currently have struggles with, because I was just typing in chat. I have all of my leatherworking stuff, or sorry, my weaving stuff in one place, my tailoring stuff in another place, etc., etc. So it's already like full. Like I'm begging you to get on sometime so I can give you stuff that I've collected that you could use, because I need space. So
I could do without the muling.
yeah.
I mean, the stacks could be bigger in the basic storages we have too.
I would like to see that as well. If my bag can hold 60 of them in a stack? Why am I stuck at 20? But I wonder
Yeah.
if that's what is broken about the storage. Like if you, because you know how you can indicate the type of storage it is. So if it's a flower storage, then I wonder if it's meant to be bigger stacks because you're dictating it to be herbs. But it just wasn't working. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
and
intended to be
see,
able to do that. Okay.
That's what I would think. Is it's intended to grow with the node size. Again, this is all theory crafting and just debating and whatnot.
Yeah.
We're using our imagination here, but I would imagine it would grow with the node. I would also imagine that there would be some kind of systems in game that you could increase your status in that would increase your storage. Even things like, say, guild points maybe impacting how much storage you could have. Definitely increasing their own storage size, even being able to buy into it, contribute X amount of X amount of monetary.
Sorry, I think we just got hit with a double ad. Like
Did we?
an ad just finished and then another one started.
Ew, that's not
Yeah, I
good.
don't like that. I'm gonna have to go look at why that's doing that. Sorry, everybody.
I don't like it at all. But yeah, either like a monetary or a material cost in order to upgrade the storage. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Imagine having ads in 20. I really hate. Don't even get me started. I will go on a whole tangent about how much I hate Twitch ads. Okay, don't even get me started on that one. Yeah, definitely. But didn't they say something about guild storage? Yeah, I feel like it should be a phase 3 thing. That's the guild stuff was supposed to come in phase 3. I paid to never see ads. It's so worth it. That's worth it. That's definitely worth it. Yeah, Twitch Turbo. Cool. Yeah, didn't realize the bags were ever broken. I'm not necessarily talking about the bags. I'm talking about the storage things. When you chose a specific type of storage, I think at the beginning you could see it disappear randomly, but towards the middle of it, it was just a stack of 20, just like the normal storage. So it didn't really benefit you to specify the type of storage it was. Aww. Stop rubbing it in, y'all, with disposable income.
I'm just saying, if you're talking about in-game, my income is trash, but I don't know about it being necessarily disposable.
I'm just saying, if you're watching that many people on Twitch, it's probably more worth it to get the turbo sub than the individual subscribe on each channel.
But yeah, there is definitely that. If you're just trying to avoid ads, it's definitely worthwhile getting the turbo, because then the nifty thing is everybody where you skip ads with your turbo, you actually get them some money. Not as much as an actual sub, a direct sub, but it still helps them out too anyway.
Yeah. But Solventa Batty. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that they still need to add for like ease of use or just, nice to have things within Ashes. But I don't know. I'm nervous about this mega server. I'm going to be honest. I'm not interested in long-term testing on the mega server. I'll probably just test for this 2.5 phase. I'll probably just test like artisans and stuff like that and see how that feels. But I mean, in a roundabout way, we basically got the wipe for this. So yeah, I mean, it might be the fresh start, but it's basically a wipe at this point too.
Yeah, see, the funny thing is, I'm not sure when they're looking to really break it back out, like how far down the line.
Yeah.
It might take all the way up until like part of the way through the phase 3 kickoff. Just saying it's possible.
Yeah.
Only saying it's possible because they haven't said otherwise, but we'll see.
This is a wipe with more smoke and mirrors. I mean, yeah, basically.
It's a wipe with extra steps.
Yeah. It's a premium wipe, I guess.
Yeah, overall, yeah, it's gonna be better for the game anyway. So I mean, I'm not despite
Cheers.
me hoping that it doesn't stay forever and that they
Thank
don't really like to increase the population to be too crazy large in the future. Increasing the pop and even testing it with a gigantic population for an extended period of time is definitely a good step in the right direction for testing stability, and you'll really find the weak points that you need to shore up real fast. And if they can strengthen it for a giant population, then it'll be far more stable for a smaller.
Yeah. But
I gotta answer creep there.
yes,
Uh-oh.
go for it.
How do I think that the mega server will affect the RP side of things? I've already seen a lot of our peers say they're gonna definitely take a break for phase 2.5.
Yeah. I saw that coming too.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you because I saw that you had a meeting about what to do with all of that, and I was curious what the outcome was because I saw it pop up and I was like, oh, I can't join right now, but I'm really curious to see how that like turns out, what you guys decide for the roleplay community as a whole.
Well, we did make the decision, but then the decision was made for everyone anyway, so it was kind
Right.
of moot because the only server that's viable is the Fresh Start.
Right.
So there's that. There's a good amount of RP groups that are coming and going to be actively playing. We've been talking with a lot of them, and there's certain ones that want to sharpen their knives pretty sharp soon here. So
Yeah.
watch out, PvP guilds.
It's gonna be exciting times. And just imagine, like, this whole time dynamic gridding hasn't really been going, even with the servers as they were.
Yeah.
And again, as far as density of population per node or per area on the map, we've already experienced more concentration than the live game was supposed to be. So once they add dynamic gridding, like actually dynamic gridding, it should get worse to begin with for sure, but then better.
Yeah.
And that reminds me that we had a caravan over the weekend. It wasn't even very large. I think maybe 20 or 30 most. I don't think it even got bigger than that. And we crashed Lionhold
Oh my goodness.
over the weekend.
Although I suppose Lionhold was always easy to crash because they told us to stay out of Lionhold.
But
They're 18, Chog says. They're 18. I counted them.
okay, yeah. So I mean, we had a caravan line. What was it, like 84, 86 at the beginning of the phase, and that stretched all the way from Winstead to Nuela. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
You say that was a single caravan line?
A single caravan line. There was so many.
Well, see, I know the biggest one we took part in. Yeah, the largest one we took part in was what we had either 60 or 80 people in the raids. There were 2 raids and they were basically full. So between 60 and 80 people. And I want to say
there's so many caravan items on my screen. I had to shrink them as much as I possibly could.
I want to say it was at least 40 of them were caravans, and it was just a long line.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, 84, 64, whatever.
Oracle. I have to counter this narrative, Oracle. Part of the Revis Order backstory is we taught the players that became Organized Chaos how to play SWTOR.
Wow.
Dylan was taught how to tank.
Misinformation.
Dylan was taught how to tank by the Revis Order. Okay. Facts
That
straight
sounds like
here.
a lot. Donut Day had the most running the server ever saw. What's Donut Day?
Donut was a guild, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I think. I remember hearing the name Donut like a bunch of times. Donut did this, Donut did that, and I'm not sure if it was a guild or a person.
Gotcha. Des was the 5th horseman in the whole time. Are you talking about on Lyneth? Or are you talking about on Vira? Because if it's on Vira, I'm not aware of it. But if you're talking about Lineth, I think you're talking about like what they called the Care Bear Day.
Yeah, everyone called it Care Bear Day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
fully
was a lot
protected
of
one single route. Yeah.
that was a lot of caravans back and forth. Like that was just an endless stream of caravans going one direction for the most part. And Vertec and I lost both of our caravans and then proceeded to no longer do Caravan Day.
Yeah, losing that last caravan, that was the last straw for me. I didn't touch one since that day.
Yep. Yeah, it was like an all day event. I think it started something at like 8 a.m. or something. I don't know. It was an all day thing. Like when I got on, everybody was doing it, and they went until late at night, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
maybe even later.
It was an all day thing, and I think I was maybe the 15th or 20th person in line, and I lost a caravan to a bug. And I've lost more than I've completed by far, by a good margin. So I just literally didn't have the money to be able to keep building them, so I just stopped. Made me sad.
The Thundere acting out.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
Oh, sorry, I lost my headphones. One sec, I'll be right back.
No worries. Let me keep up with chat here. I'm really interested to see the dynamic with all the guilds and groups getting one realm. It's going to be spicy, maybe. Yeah, that's to say the least. Zilla and Organized Chaos have always been good friends to the Revis Order. That's what I hear. So many of my members have been discouraged from caravans. Yes. And Groggy, thank you also. So A Good Shepherd, because I didn't get to say you earlier. And Groggy, thank you guys for the subs. Appreciate you.
I wish they'd have a payout system for those of us who want to defend caravan and not drive it.
Yes. And I feel like they're trying to make that be something that's on the player side so that it's not built like natively into the systems.
Oof.
But like, I don't know. I feel like it should be something like you at least support something where if somebody supports like your caravan, it's automatically divided by the number of people that sign up for the dividing. So even if you're like, I can only afford 50 gold for, let's say, 5 people, you get 10 gold each. 10 people, you get 5 gold each. And the more people that there are, the less you get. But hey, the more successful it's likely to be.
The tricky part is like when it comes to players paying out to people defending, even with friends and whatnot who would split things, pretty fairly, it was still like I would defend going across the map and get 50 silver out of it.
Yeah.
I could have spent half the time and killed mobs and gotten more reward out of it financially.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's one of those things, like it has to be built into the system, and it has to be built into the system because you can't trust the random passerby with a caravan. Yeah. Why would you just join to defend a caravan for no purpose other than I have time to kill? Unless there's already like a guaranteed
no incentive
reward
to defend at all, but there's all incentive to attack it.
Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, for those of you that have known TGF Tavern, Vertec, and myself, and our thoughts on the caravans, you know that we are not a big fan of the crowbar because that essentially ruins any sort of back and forth that there is with the caravan system.
Yeah, I had my caravan at one point blown up in like, it must have been like 20 seconds. It was just, I was swarmed and it got beat down, and before I even released, I was just watching my caravan health just go doo 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 doo. They destroyed it and they crowbarred it like right then, immediately, and just went on their way.
Yep. And you're like, okay, well, I can't even fight to get it back now.
Well, there's that. Goodbye.
Sad Hulk walk. Well, bye.
We just actually had this conversation about vans in our alliance, and we were talking about how I personally feel that they need to do asset to asset damage with caravans, because in Darkfall we had what they called spikes in the siege hammers, and those are the only ways you could destroy any type of in-game asset. And I think that would put pressure on attackers to actually spend money to make a profit.
Oh, kind of like a DR. So like your regular weapons don't actually really do much with the with a caravan, or you have to have a specific weapon type even if they don't want to go that far.
Yep. And it puts pressure on it, and it keep it nice and tanky like it is, but make them require to spend some money too if they want to profit.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I would personally be okay if they, like, I like that idea, but I'd personally be okay if they took it step by step and literally just added the systems for the, like the highwayman system they were talking about for the attackers, and then whatever the name system they're going to have for defenders, and then gave an actual incentive and a purpose, reason, and reward for defenders to actually defend when when a caravan's passing them by, and just see how that affects things first.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another system that needs to be in caravans. The caravan owner should be able to kick someone off of their event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just talking with Chog in here, saying Chog said they need to either make drivers unattackable or caravans to be drivable by guild or raid members. And I agreed with that because I was initially going to say I didn't like that idea because what if somebody joined it and had like malintent, but all you have to do then is kick them and then they can't drive it anymore. So congratulations. Like I imagine that just booting them off possibly. But
Well, there's another aspect to that too. You have people that join them just to be here. I'm a marker of where this caravan is. Come get me.
yeah, there's that
Yeah.
too. And that's definitely happened to Vertec and myself and some of the caravans that we've run.
Yep, we definitely had somebody doing that. Absolutely. Because we were taking a very out of the way and odd path. And we ended up getting jumped by a large number of people. But we had a
Yeah.
level 8 and a level 12 in the group. So one of them was definitely a, hey guys, here's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Fupo,
'Cause-
that is an amazing idea. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. What was it?
Fupo has crafted a consumable weapon coating to damage caravans and other vehicles instead of just regular weapons.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I mean, I kind of read it as something like that, like something where you could craft it, consume it, and attach it to weapons. That's how I read that Spike's comment on the Warhammer that you two were talking about.
Mhm.
Definitely not needing a specific weapon or a specific whatever that you buy from like an NPC or something like that, but something a player can craft that can be the thing that does the damage to the caravan would be pretty nifty, I think. Honestly, that could take up your crowbar slot. Like, here's your caravan destruction device, whatever it is. Just toss it in there, and that's the only way you can do damage is if you have one of those. And it has a durability, but once the durability is gone, it breaks.
Yeah.
Yep. As long
Keep
as
the
it's
economy
attached to the economy is what I was about to say.
Where's Norman stealing your thunder?
See, the only problem with that, I'm not sure how to say your name, Aofree, is that, or Alfrey, is that for those of us that are trying to get our caravan starting in the first place, like Vertec and I have consistently had roughly at maximum 20 gold, at maximum, like absolute maximum. By typical like averages, Vertex averaged around maybe 10 gold if he's lucky, and then myself kind of the same. And so like 10 gold isn't really a whole lot when you think of a caravan, and then you finally work up the time and effort to get the base caravan upgraded to a bigger one just for your caravan to die, and then you're out of gold because you used a lot of your gold just to upgrade it. And then you just kind of say, never mind, I'll just go sell my glint and then move on with your life.
Yeah, see, that's the problem I bumped into, because I think I've only run maybe like 11 or 12 caravans, something like that. And most of, and I mean, I think I've completed 4 of those caravans. We'll go ahead and say I completed 5 out of 12. We'll just say that. The largest caravan I was able to complete was like 24, 23 gold, and that was going from, I think it was Nuela out to one of the desert areas. Or was it, maybe it was Miraleth, I forget. Either way, I think it was like Athanar, maybe. But either way, I think it was 23 gold or 24 gold, and I thought that was amazing. But I would keep getting my caravan destroyed, and this is like the 4 gold caravan that you buy the pieces from the vendor in Winstead, and you put the carriage and the frame together, and you get more capability to move things. Those kept getting destroyed by players or lost to bugs, so I never had a chance to take that and stack it. to get the bigger caravan that could even think of running an entire 1 gold worth of glint. I never got to be able to put that much into a single caravan. So you make 100 caravan run, which makes you 25 gold, and you got your guild 2,500 gold easy. Well, that's the problem. I've only been able to finish like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
And if I'm literally getting half of them destroyed, or over half of them destroyed, then I'm not making money on all that time and effort. Especially, I could have just been grinding a dungeon and made more money off of it, which I did, by the way. That's how I ended up continuing my life. I made 24 gold that I didn't need to spend on rebuying a destroyed caravan, and I've actually profited more off of just selling the glint than I ever did on caravans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
oh, sorry, go ahead.
we had a caravan in my guild, if he's still in there. Creepy Janitor built a caravan that had like 1.2 million health, and it was pretty much all heroic and above in grades.
Wow.
He managed to make some pretty good gold out of it, but even that eventually gets annihilated.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Figuring that out for people.
Yeah, the bigger caravan you have, the more attention it's going to draw. Someone sees a basic caravan, like the base level, they're probably going to pass it by. They see something with 1 point whatever million health, they're going to call everybody in their alliance to come destroy that.
Yeah. And that's kind of going back to the point that I was talking with somebody in chat, was like, yeah, like the caravan system, when it's done well, can be fun. It can be a lot of fun. There was at the early of phase 2, when there wasn't one person seeing that we had a caravan, and then suddenly we're like 10 versus 50 people. But at the beginning, when it wasn't like that, it was really fun. There was like we felt more like even groups were fighting and facing off against each other. It was more enjoyable to help defend those. And on top of that, it was, I guess, meaningful content to take part in. But after a period of time, when you're just kind of getting zerged and you don't really have the backup to kind of face off against 50 people suddenly showing up with more people that they could call, especially because, if you think about Nexus, roughly our entire guild size is about 50 people. So when you think of people like Overlord and Fed and Pirates, who have way more than 50 members, it's one of those, at some point we know we're going to get outnumbered, essentially. And when that was happening consistently, regardless of what the caravan was, it was quickly a deterrent to even try to run a caravan. So Pirates take 300 caravans run. Yeah, so Pirates could probably make the money. And that's kind of where my starting of this conversation was coming from, was for people that have the numbers and can secure multiple caravans over and over and over again, you're going to make bank. But for the people that can't get that security, we're struggling a bit with that, and with gold. But that's where you find gold other ways, right?
I remember when we had the caravan discussion about a year ago, I think. Maybe it was not just a year ago. Maybe it was a little sooner than that. But I suggested to Intrepid that we, when they make the caravans, kind of militarize them and kind of have like a gunner seat on the caravan. And I said that to them so smaller guilds could have a chance. So they have like a chain ballista or a chain potion launcher that constantly just lobbing out pain to defend it. Obviously it'll cost something to weaponize your caravan, and not just like it costs to up armor it, but it gives smaller guilds a chance to actually attack. Or not to attack, but to defend their gold rather than just lose it constantly.
Yeah.
I think there also should be a caravan upgrade, maybe, that protects the driver from being attacked at all. And you have to
honestly, I think the armor should do that.
Yeah,
I think the armor should do that. Like at least of a certain rarity, or a certain wood quality or wood designation. Like it's got to be braidwood. Braidwood starts protecting the driver or something like that.
Yeah. And then Fupa has a good counterpoint. You know, if you make it easy to defend at a point, it would make it so the larger guilds would then be invincible. And then my next question is, well, how do we make sure that the smaller groups have a fair play against the Zerging groups? Much like they have the guild system, right? So you can choose to increase your power and your defenses, etc., as a smaller guild to offset, or you can go into a larger guild as a different option. So it's one of those, how do we adjust the caravans, especially considering going into a mega server like we're about to go into? How do we make sure that the caravans for smaller groups are at a equally fun, not as big of a disadvantage as the mega Zergi people are, because you have the numbers to go and slay these areas like that, you know?
So in Archage, when you started swapping parts out in their vehicle system, you could choose what you were going to put where and what. So like on their cannon slot and certain boat designs, you could choose to put an extra bag or an extra like basket for a pack, or you could put a certain type of cannon, and you could upgrade things like the rudders and the sails. And I think as long as they stay closer to that system and then require players to make, informed choices, I think that's like the middle ground for their vehicle system. So smaller guilds can actually tank up and at least get some gold out of the caravan run without making bigger guilds invincible.
Yeah. Hi, Lulu. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really tough one way or the other.
I mean, we're not the game devs. We don't have to come up with the answers, obviously. It was just food for thought.
Yeah, like really, unless they come up with an absolute genius of an idea, I don't think they're going to be able to avoid the fact that larger guilds are going to be dominating Ashes, and it's just going to be a fact of life.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to be able to accept that Intrepid is putting in some controls to help out with it, but the answer can't always be, well, you need to get an alliance. Well, larger guilds can get an alliance too, and now you have 2 large guilds versus 5 small guilds, and the 5 small guilds are still going to get trumped.
Yeah.
Like the alliance system is always brought up, assuming that the large guild is going to be by themselves, and that's going to be only the large guild versus the entire server of small guilds, and that's not really how that works out.
Yeah, because you could have 2 guilds that are 100 plus each that are alliance together, and then the 5 guilds that might be 50 each, maybe. And then on top of that, I'm sure the larger guilds have more to pull from as well. But we need proper balance of risk and reward for the caravans. The attackers have 0 risk. They do have 0 risk. And yeah, so as you join a PvP, so you can't you should not be able to flag up and just kill the person that is the person running the caravan system. I feel like you have to join the caravan event for you to be able to attack them. Now, a different caveat of this is if you run a caravan into the lawless zones, you have to now flag, or you auto get flagged. And now it's like free game for the caravan system. I still am not exactly a big fan of that. But I mean, I also don't run my caravans there for that reason. But yeah, a good 8-man with proper party cohesion and party makeup can do some serious damage to large zergs. And you need that cohesion though. You need that, and gear. As Vertec and I found, gear makes a huge difference, which hopefully they're changing. And that's why I want to see what phase 2.5 is all about with these adjustments that they're making, hopefully within the TTK system, hopefully within the crafting system. And I mean, if the servers can handle it, I'm hoping that this is the next step towards the 500 V500s that they're looking for, with not having, what was it? That low, not player density, what do you call it? Just certain far distance that you can't see past unless you get closer, and then suddenly there's like another whole group that pops into your viewport.
Render.
Render distance, thank you. Yeah, hopefully that fixes a lot of the render distance too. But we'll see. My brain is going a million miles an hour right now.
Yeah.
There's also just an aspect to this to where iron sharpens iron. So eventually, people who do not want to be hostile will just take the aspect of strategic defense, and they will organize themselves to be able to ward off attacks, but just not be there for attacking others. I have friends that are preparing for that.
So iron may sharpen iron, but what does it do to heavily heated copper like myself? No, I see what you're saying. Like you can't get better without practice and without dedication, for sure. And sometimes some systems just aren't for you. And as crap of a statement as that is, because honestly, I do believe it's a really crappy statement.
Copper is brittle, sir.
But copper is brittle, sir. yes, it is. But it is true. Like, because I just know that I'm not really cut out to be a powerhouse in PvP. I can hold my own relatively well, but on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna place myself at a solid like 6, maybe 7. I'm really not amazing at the PvP. Just
I don't know, Vertec. I gotta say, with Chibi and me grabbing your back and like healing you up, you'll survive.
I mean,
quite
all
well.
I need is Chibi, the War Master, and I'm good. To be honest, but Chibi can't always be on.
Apparently, I'm just the healing cannon that sits on his arm. Pew, 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 pew.
EV finger guns, oh yeah.
Heckin' yeah.
2.5 will finally unlock your secret murder hobo tendencies I know you have.
We'll see. We'll see. By the way, for those of you that don't know, next week is the first full week of May. And so we will be doing a lot of community focused streaming on Monday and Tuesday. So Monday, we're hoping to maybe do a leveling group, starting off with some guild mates. But if there's spots open, you guys are welcome to come make a new character, be an alt or just a random character that you just want to try the class of. And hopefully, the mega server Shoal is not too much of a bloodbath, that we can still have a fun chill time together. But otherwise, we will probably have a backup game, maybe something like Marvel Rivals or something where we can play a bunch together. And then on Tuesday is our more community focus, where like it's kind of like this, but it's actually just us chit-chatting with you guys, doing some wheel spins and thanking you guys for supporting us the way that you guys have been supporting us, and doing some fun stuff. So just as an aside on what to expect next week, it's a little bit out of our typical stuff. So thank you guys for supporting, and welcome to the tavern, especially all these new faces.
Yeah.
We love it. Do you think they will
Also-
actually... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I wanted to add this in. I fought both of you in the PTR on sieges, and you both do a good job of tanking up, so that defensive strategy applies to you already.
Aw.
I tried to fight Chibi once, and she does a great job of kiting and squirreling around buildings, and it's just like, I'm done, and I walked
You
off.
mean running away? I do a good job of running
No,
away. Thank you.
It's called a tactical movement, Chibi.
Kiting. You're kiting.
I'm like, I must live. I'm running away now. Bye-bye.
Sometimes taking a threat away from the confrontation is a solid contribution.
Meanwhile, no, you don't hear this because you're on the opposite side. I'm like, I'm dying, help, I need heal.
Meanwhile, I'm aiming my bow over at Sovereign, and he goes down while he's chasing you.
Yeah, see? As long as you're not the one to experience the respawn timer, a 1-to-1 trade for an extended period of time is okay. It's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that being said, though, going back to the whole not really being interested in PvP from Vertec and myself, like caravans are one of those things. Like I'll join, but if it's too much of a losing battle, I don't have nearly as much incentive to stay. If it's a slightly losing battle, because if it's a slightly losing battle with the right adjustments, you can always still come out on top. But when it's like, 200 people versus like 20, yeah, that's kind of a losing battle. So it's one of those, I like it when the objective based PvP is more on equal footing, like Siege's a little bit more. Professional roacher, there you go. I suppose that's what I am. But yeah, I prefer like more balanced objective based PvP where there's more than just let me see if I can kill this person. There's things you're trying to get to. So that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Especially like sieges. Sieges are fun.
Sieges are very entertaining.
Yes. For those who played versus Sun Chibi's and I, but I do main Bunny for a reason.
It's true.
Vertex trying to taunt me back, but I don't know. Hard. The doggo did get me back.
Vertex, do you play the old man or do you play Kyle for tanking?
Tanking is only just now making a comeback in First Descendant, to be honest. It was all the guy characters were just poop for the longest time. They've added a couple of new systems though that I was able to run through with Kyle and do actually a pretty darn good job and keep up with the girls. So
yeah, Kyle was amazing when I played.
Kyle's my guy. I've always loved Kyle.
By the way, just as a stance for anybody curious, Vertex and I are not going too heavy into 2.5, just in case anybody was wondering. I think we're kind of just waiting for phase 3 for a lot of the newer stuff to happen, but I'm willing to test out artisanship, especially since that's a big one for me. And I kind of already decided I'll probably just sit in the town and make little like tailoring and herbalism alchemy things. But I won't be going nearly as hardcore into 2.5 as I did at the beginning of 2. But also I'm waiting for Pyre.
Yeah, we'll see how hard I go into it. I'm not certain. I know it's probably not going to be as hard as phase 1, and phase 2.5 is going to be a little bit lighter, but never know. Maybe when certain features and whatnot kick in, I might go twice as hard as regular phase 2 beginning.
Yeah.
Time will tell. But
I have a feeling, Magnificent. I have a feeling, but I'm just saying I'm just not gonna be leveling enough to be able to probably withstand the outside world of the outside of the town.
yeah, I might end up like, depending on how it plays out, I might just park a tavern keeper character at a freehold, like beg for change, get a freehold, and just live my life there and stay there for however long I can until the node gets destroyed. And I'll just man the tavern, and that'll be my life. Test out all the tavern features.
We will definitely at least be helping them test the stress testing of both the merge and the shoal fresh start. So once that kind of levels out, and also I think Strixon mentioned this earlier, right? There's a lot of player decline, and I think maybe, I don't even know how many people are phase 3 alone, because that's what, at least $100 for that. So the influx of phase 3 players alone might repopulate because they've not tested yet at all. I could totally see that being a thing, but I think for some of us that went harder core, by like March I was feeling the burnout, especially end of February, beginning of March. And then Vertex, who's been doing a lot of the traveling, hadn't had the pleasure as much, so he lasted a little longer than I did. Yeah. Ending up without any optimizations in the game, traveling with a laptop and trying to play is nowhere near as enjoyable. By nowhere near as enjoyable, I mean it'd be great if I needed bacon for breakfast, because I just need to slap it on the keyboard, and I could probably eat while playing, and it would be amazing. Yeah. But it's hard to keep bacon in a hotel. But yeah, I suppose we all will be waiting and watching with bated breath for the update coming from Intrepid this week to see if they shed any more light on their announcements. And that, by the way, is 15 hours from now. So tomorrow's the live stream, you guys.
I think that summoner's gonna help with population.
I think Summoner's gonna help with an oracle in the chat because he's been waiting this whole entire phases for Summoner. But
And all they had to do was put my Tolnar in, but no, they're making me wait forever.
we haven't heard anything new really with Tolnar in a while.
And actually, you know what? Real quick, Lulu brought up a point earlier. It suggested making bounty hunters able to hunt anyone with a positive ratio of caravan attack successes. So like they register as an attacker and the caravan's destroyed. Anyone who has like a positive ratio is able to be hunted by bounty hunters as well as those who are corrupted. Especially if they follow through with loosening the corruption mechanic and making it not quite so strict. Then especially give bounty hunters something more to hunt down, because I think it feels good right now with the corruption. But you know, if they're trying to create more player contention.
I don't know about the corruption. Like, I kind of, when someone messes with my members or my allies, I don't really think about the corruption until after I'm red, and I go, oops. I have to like thump that person immediately. Really, I forgo the consequences. Like, I don't go corrupt to like be a bad guy, but I just have zero tolerance for messing with my guild or my friends and my allies.
Yeah.
And I feel you there too. I feel you on that.
Oracle says, I don't know what I want more at this point, Renkai or Summoner. That's a good point.
The answer is elves.
Elves.
That's funny.
They need to make elves pretty still.
They do need to work on that a bit.
But yeah, I think that'd be a decent idea with the bounty hunting. Again, especially if they're going to be reducing the penalties for corruption. Because that's just going to... Seeing so many people pop up in Reddit was insane. Like, I'm not even a PvPer, and I'm not going to take advantage of the system at all because I just don't PvP. But I think the corruption penalties are too stiff right now. You're not able to kill people. So what you're saying is you want to murder Hobo, you just don't think it's worth the risk right now. That's what you're saying. That's what this post screams to me right here.
I think the penalties are fine right now. I think they're great.
They need the honor system before they lower it. Well, nice for you. I went red just the other day. I had to have Leah come out and kill me.
I feel like that was a glitch of the game.
All I'm saying is I've gotten red once and it was an accident.
And it was pretty easy to clear that off though, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially because it was PTR.
Fair.
I was just like, murder me, guys, murder me. You're not affiliated in any manner.
Murder me. Terrible.
No, it was with Taco. I accidentally murdered Taco, and I even told him like seconds before that. I'm like, I'm scared to do any of these on you because you're only like level 1. I don't want to accidentally murder you. And he's like, nah, you're fine. You're not gonna murder me. I pushed the button immediately. Corruption level 3.
You know what's hilarious is I was just about to say, knowing Taco, he probably deserved it, but then you finished your sentence, and he was literally asking for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was like, because we were testing Rogue and I was showing him all the cool things Rogue could do, and I was like, oh, but I don't want to do this one because I think it attacks you when I do it. And he's like, nah, I'll be fine, you can do it. I'm like, I don't want to kill you. He's like, nah, I'll be fine. Red lost everything. We're not murdering multiple tacos right now. I know, it's Tuesday too. Vertec and I had tacos today.
I didn't get to slay enough tacos. I only had 3.
Well, if you want more, I'm sure we can go find more.
But then we have to wait a whole other week to have them on Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. More tacos for Taco Tuesday.
I definitely want to see how the honor system pans out for all of this, because I'm hoping the honor system is the balance to corruption, because I definitely scale more on the side of honorable acts than going corrupt. It's just some people need punched in the face.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, that's really cool. How did you do that? A message effect. Oh, thank you.
Ooh.
Are you excited for Wipe? I'm excited for Wipe from a web developer and a software engineer standpoint. I am not excited for the Wipe for the mega server as a player standpoint. So I'm torn.
I'm exactly the same. Like I'm excited because I would like to see how, everybody performs from a ground zero state. Everybody in the guild, everybody in the server, etc. But with the mega server, it's going to be a whole lot more. I'll use the word interesting.
Yeah.
But Fupo, the honor system. I'm assuming you're when you say honor system, you're talking about the military nodes, and then the favor for the divine nodes.
I think they were meaning the honor system, like if you're not gonna attack me, I'm gonna stop PvPing you, because otherwise eventually I will make a bad name for myself and then people on the server will actually come after me. Is that what I understood from you, Des and Solverin? For the honor system?
The honor system is supposedly you do like honorable things, you get points for that, and then say if you do something like you get some corruption, I hope it balances it.
The only thing I was able to find, because somebody else mentioned honor system before, and the only thing I found tied to it was honor that you can earn at military nodes for doing PvP type activities. In the same way you can get favor at divine nodes for doing religious type activities or divine type activities.
I just hope it extends farther into the game.
I need my religious war. Says literally.
I'm just saying, if there's anybody I could imagine as being the leader of an insanely large religious cult in Ashes, it would be Lulu. I could see this happening.
Or Leah in my guild.
I'm just saying, Phoenix has definitely helped us out here a lot, so we probably do owe Phoenix an otter emote at this point with the otter guild.
Well, what's this?
What would it be?
An otter emote?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Mommy Maple is with Phoenix, and Phoenix has his otter guild.
Okay.
Tommy is the leader of otters.
Okay. Give us a chunk. Well, we have
A chunk. Okay.
Phoenix Fire, right? That's who you're talking about by Phoenix? Because we have the...
Yeah, we do have that peaking one.
Yeah. So we need to fit in a second emote for Mr. Phoenix. Or trade that one out for an otter. We could have an otter peeking.
I think we need, an otter.
Could have an otter peeking around a corner.
Do you want that? Do you want an otter peek?
Ooh, a peeking otter with a little like floating log or something. He's got his little paws over and his little eyeballs and snoot.
Oh, like from the bottom instead of from the side?
Yeah.
I love that. What about a bird? That is a bird. It's a phoenix. Phoenix is peeking from the side. Not a falcon, but a phoenix. But
they need to let us have more emotes. They really do.
Or is it a plane? It's Superman. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I don't know. I feel like we are getting to a pretty good point here in the conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has definitely been one of the bigger news pieces that have definitely had voices across Vera speaking up. And we watched, who was it? I think it was, oh man, I'm blanking. It's not Nice. Maybe it was Nice. We were in bed watching him.
Oh yeah, we were watching Nice and we were watching Richie and we were looking at some other folks as well, Zyback. I think we watched like 6 videos just sitting there, laying there.
Yeah. Just trying to get an idea of how everybody responded. So, I mean, for those of you that are watching us over on the YouTubes, if you want to give us your thoughts in the comments. We want to know what you think about the mega server merge wipe situation. Because a lot has changed in just this week alone. And we're just rolling with the punches at this point. And that's all you can really do.
And
Development is a constant moving train.
Disappearing also.
Yeah.
We could probably raid over to Dusty Y. He's still up and running.
Sure.
Looks like he's chatting a lot of stuff about the news and whatnot. So
sure. We could do that.
But
if you guys want to hear our thoughts on the live stream that's going to happen tomorrow and or come meet one of our guests this Saturday, feel free to tune in. We'll be doing our bi-weekly, I guess, our every other week, first and third Saturday of the month podcast. We adjusted that to have a little bit more downtime to also actually play Ashes because it was getting a little hard to juggle both. But we will be discussing tomorrow's live stream as well as more of your thoughts. And last thing, my heart goes out to EU people. I'm sorry you're losing your server, but for Vera.
Yeah. For the betterment of Vera. But as the true stars of this show, since you hung out from beginning all the way through the end, Silver and Des, would you like any closing statements, comments, random words of wisdom, or stupidity? Your choice. I'm
gonna let Solve go first.
Ooh. Yeah, just don't quit. So how about words of inspiration? And you find yourself faced with adversity, don't quit just because some murder hobos came along and took your flowers. Get up, dust yourself over, keep pushing on. It's the only way Ashes is really gonna work in the end.
Do not quit. You must do it.
I say find some friends and build the community you want. Make the world shape the way you want it to be.
Dig holes, never surrender, never give up. All right, well, thank you guys so much. We're gonna head on over to Dusty Y, and I'm gonna get that raid started while Vertex does the closing things.
Yar. And both of you, Silver and Des, feel free to drop links for any kind of events, channels, whatever you got going on for guilds, friends, family, etc. Feel free to drop them all there in chat. On our way out the door, for everybody who can hear this or sees it in the future, takes the time to watch us. Thank you so much for spending that time here. You do not get refunds on time. It is your most valuable commodity because of that. So we hope it was worth it. And we're happy that you chose to spend it here. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and we will catch you around next time.
See you next time.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
you